You're listening to the Smash Bros. Cast episode 66. I'm your host, N64 Josh. My co-host and sparring partner is Nightcrawler. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? We're fighting through an old computer, but we're here.
Technical difficulties and all. We are here. We're a little bit late, but it's happening. It's happening. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. So, before we get started, guys, you want to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/SBC. Pick up something awesome like Blood, Sweat, and Pixels or Ready Player One. The chair I'm sitting in is from OP Seat. Go to n64josh.com/OP Seat. You automatically save $10 at checkout. And if you would like to help support the content that I create, go to patreon.com/n64josh. With that, we're going to get to the announcements. All right, so we're gonna keep on going with I think our Monday shows are gonna keep on going. I don't know. We kind of had some fun with the last one, so we'll see. Tune in on Twitch. We'll be doing something Smash related on Mondays for sure. I think the call-in shows are gonna keep. We gotta just make sure that people are calling in, otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose. So, and if we end up having to go so late, it makes it a little difficult. So we'll try it again this next week. If it ends up just kind of not doing super great, we're gonna, maybe transition to something else. So, but that's gonna happen Mondays. Twitch.tv/n64josh. Come hang out. We have our tournament March 9th starting at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when you have to be checked in. The matches will start around 4:30, 4:45. That's also 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can go to n64josh.com/smash tournament to sign up. I'm not sure how many people we have at the moment, but last time we had around 60. So there is a $35 eShop. Let's see. There's a $35 eShop prize pool. $20 for first place. $10 for second. Third, 30. It's $5 eShop cards. So those are North American eShop cards. That just makes it the easiest for me to purchase. So there you go. I think next up on our agenda here is some tournament news. All right, so Frostbite, last weekend, we got the results for you guys. We have a link in the show notes if you want to be able to check them out, taking us over to smash.gg. I'm opening that up right now, and we know that for singles, Tweak was able to take it. MK Leo, getting second, and our boy Myron, third place with Zolamar. Yeah. Did you see that picture of him popping off?
Getting hate on the internet.
Oh, did he get hate on the internet?
Uh-oh, we froze again.
He got hate on the internet? Uh-oh. Apparently. Are we back?
We're back.
Okay. So you saw some hate. Myron got some hate?
Yeah. There seems to be a decent amount of Olimar hate going around the internet right now. I mean, just in general, I think this week has been kind of a toxic week in Smash Bros. World.
Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Did you see that picture of him popping off?
Yes. The pop off, and then did you see one? Somebody posted one last night that he not only shreds it with Smash Bros, he shreds it in the half pipe too. It was like him skateboarding too. It was pretty cool.
Oh, really? That's cool. There's a screenshot of him. If we can find it, we'll get it in the notes where he's
that pop off.
He's jumping like. I don't even know how to really explain it. Like his arms and his legs. And...
His feet were higher than the table. Like his whole body was above the table. It was a very explosive pop off.
Yeah, and I don't even know. I'm wondering if that was that Richter match.
That was the Richter. I think it was either because they only did one Ditto, right, with Olimar, and then he switched to Richter. They
didn't do a single Ditto.
Oh, they didn't. Okay.
No, they didn't do a single Ditto. The announcers were all stoked to see a Ditto, and we got nothing. So,
but yeah, that was loser semis is where that was.
So I watched a good portion of singles. Like I had it on most of the day because I mean singles top 8 takes a while, right? We're talking like this is like watching This is like watching a football game or something. You know, it's a few
almost
hours.
a little bit long. It's like 4 hours. It's like north of 4 hours a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. And we saw most of the games go to Game 5. We also saw most of the matches taking place on PS2 or was it Smashville or Town and City? I can't remember.
Was it the bigger one with platforms on the side, or was it a single plat?
I honestly I couldn't. At this point, it's been too far out that I can't.
I forget. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch as much, but yeah, it's either Town and City or Smashville.
I had it on while I was I was working in my office getting shelving built for all my game collection and stuff, and so man, some of the matches were just crazy. And again, seeing just the variety of characters, seeing Snake, right? Certain, like, you go into it thinking you're going to see, like, we were just at Genesis. We saw, Genesis top 8. Frostbite's top 8 was a lot different.
Yep.
It was a lot different. And so, I mean, Tweaks, Wario, unreal. MK Leo was going with his Lucina, and Tweak was able to.
And Leo pulls out Ike when he knows the matchup or is confident in it. But if he's gonna get run around by, like, I forget, because he switched it up when he was fighting. Did he fight Myron? Yeah, when he was fighting Myron, I think he switched. Oh no, it doesn't. The icon doesn't say he switched it up, but I think he was just able to. He knows his matchups and where Lucina is gonna be more beneficial for him versus Ike.
I think one of the things that impresses me most is just some of the edge guarding that we see. The ledge guarding is like it is crazy. It's crazy. Some of the stuff that you're like, I cannot believe we're seeing this right now. Some like I believe. I think it was Myron. He had a couple spikes with Olimar right on the edge, just right on the edge, and it was really impressive, really impressive. The other thing that I love watching that has actually helped my gameplay some is the way that they will, like, and we saw this a lot when I think it was MK Leo fighting Salem, right? Is that Peach main? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Sam,
no.
Samsora? Yeah, Samsora. Salem's the Link main. And so we saw a lot where he would, like, try to, like, do that side B to get back to stage, and he would throw the toad out, so he would catch it, and things like that. The way it's helped me is, like, with Flood. If I can get somebody to basically hit their up B and send them past the stage, they're gonna slowly float back down to get punished, And
there's a crazy remainder also as well sometimes with Flood that keeps pushing you back even after you got hit with the water too.
Right. So
there's a drift that comes in there.
Yeah, and so it's just incredible watching. Like, I feel like as I'm watching those matches, it's not just like I'm sitting there being entertained, but I'm taking all these, like, mental notes, like, oh, that was really good to, like just looking at the matchups and going, okay, wait, so would I be able to do something similar with Mario to that character as they're getting back to stage? You know what I mean? Watching the different ways they recover and things like that, and just trying to, I'm always trying to think about those matchups and how to improve them and whatnot. So, Frostbite was amazing. I've like, after being being at Genesis, like, it was a little hard not being there, not being at this one too, because it's just like, man, it's where I want to be. It was so hype at Genesis. So, but overall, just incredible matches from everybody, and the venue looked really cool. It looked a little more like it's a little more intimate, as far as, like, you're not in this giant, like, old-fashioned theater. Like, top 8 was right there with everybody, so you're hearing all the chanting. You're hearing, everybody's kind of. We were up in a balcony, So.
Mm-hmm. And I think Genesis has become something unique with top 8 like that, but you won't see that kind. I guess the most closest maybe you'll see that is like EVO in the esports arena, kind of, maybe something like that. But all the other ones, I think, the regional, the big majors kind of are all going to still have that intimate feeling where it's going to be still on the main stage that they've been at all weekend.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, I'm digging it. So, with that, I think we're gonna move on over to our Smash news. All right, so this week, you kind of mentioned it earlier. This week's been a little bit just kind of strange for the Smash community as far as like some of the divide between Melee and Ultimate and the toxicity between the community. We saw Liquid let Salem go, which is, I mean, it's essentially him getting fired, so that's a bummer. I mean, he probably shouldn't have said some of the things he said, that there's going to be some consequences if you want to tweet out stuff like that, but it's just been like literally, I think Saturday night, like I was just like, what is going on? Like there was just so much back and forth and hate being spewed at people and
hate being spewed at players, hate being spewed at players because of their characters, just criticism of where the power rankings are kind of on tier lists and stuff, and then on was that Monday night? No, it was Tuesday night, right? EVO happened.
I think it was. It's all kind of a blur.
So Tuesday, I think they had a stream. I didn't watch the stream. I kind of just watched it unfold on Twitter. But EVO's lineup was announced for this year, for 2019. It's going to be in Vegas again at the Esports Arena in Mandalay Bay, but it's August 2nd through 4th. And they have a whole slew of games. You can go take a look at EVO's Twitter feed or on their website, I'm sure. But the biggest news is that Ultimate is included. And for the first time in a long time, I think, since the whole effort to get Nintendo to support Melee being at EVO, Melee is not going to be included in the lineup. So that kind of just sent the bigger rift that had kind of subsided for a little bit these past like 2.5 months, that since Ultimate's been out, it kind of just ripped it wide back open, I think. What do you think, Josh?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like it was like a bloodbath on Twitter, just like I said, just so much hate and frustration and anger, and everybody's got an opinion, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, at the end of the day, I don't really even have much of a dog in the fight, right? Like we're kind of newcomers to the whole thing, but like I've been watching the Melee documentary again, or the Smash Brothers documentary again, and like, I mean, Melee and that whole scene has done so much for the Smash community and getting it to where we have tournaments and anything. I mean, without that, I don't even know where it would be as far as in the tournament scene, right? Like
even what we saw at Genesis, how many people cleared out after Melee finals?
Oh, in the building? Yeah, it was
surprising. I mean, that whole, so at Genesis, I mean, because this is our comparison, I guess, right now, but at Genesis, like the main hall that we were doing, you were doing round robin, or you were doing pools and all that kind of stuff, and top 64, all that stuff leading up to top 8. The room was kind of just divided. I mean, physically and just like psychologically, because like there were CRTs just set up on one side. They had a dual main stage going, which was cool, and then they had 2 other side streams go. There were a total of 4 streams, I think, going at Genesis, and 2 of which were I think always Melee, and 2 of which were Ultimate, and they definitely have their fan bases. I think we were a little surprised when we were waiting in line to check in at the hotel how many kids, even so much younger than us, were there for Melee. So I mean, they still have newcomers coming into it that didn't even, probably some of those kids weren't even old enough to have played really when they were kids. I mean, when Melee came out, so they've since picked it up after the fact. So there's definitely 2 factions, and I think Josh and I both appreciate Smash for just being Smash, and I enjoyed seeing 64 and Melee and Ultimate and all that stuff at Genesis. But for me, watching Melee, you can recognize kind of a cool play, and it's really cool to be in being there live, hearing reactions from people, because then you really know when something's crazy. But for the most part, it's a very hard game to watch and understand what all is happening.
To me, I mean, look, it set the bar, right? I mean, I've seen matches of, like, you know, Fox Ditto on Final Destination, and they're going under the stage and everything, and it's like things you didn't even think possible are happening, right? And so it was awesome, and it was awesome being there live. I mean, like you said, 64, everything. Like, I don't really have any desire to pick those games up and play them. For me personally, it's more exciting watching Ultimate, just because it's just, you know, newer, shinier, that kind of stuff. It's got the speed that it didn't have for the, you know, in 4. And to me, it's just a more entertaining, there's just more variety to it, right? Like, I mean, we're talking about what is Melee, like 15 years old, if not older now? I can't remember the exact, it's up there, right? And so, but the community is still very active. That, I mean, that you can't take away from the fact that, like, you know, granted it was Super Bowl Sunday, whatever, there were more viewers on Twitch for Melee than there was for Ultimate at Genesis.
I mean, that was a product, I think, also of the time zone. But yes, I mean, it was more prime time, especially for East Coast and Europe. But yeah, I mean, it was more popular in sense of viewership there. Yeah, I think this day was eventually going to come, but it's kind of odd that EVO chose the first year of Ultimate to drop Melee, and they didn't want to, because last year they had 4 and they had Melee. So I mean, it's like, why not carry the torch at least one more year and see if you can't get some of that more crossover to lean heavier into Ultimate, maybe before you take that step and remove Melee from the lineup. I get that there's a lot of games and they got a lot to cram in those 3 days, but it just seems like it I don't know, it just happened kind of abruptly.
I remember reading some articles and stuff too, kind of talking about, like, and I don't remember if it was just like tweet threads or things like that. I don't know if I can't remember what it was, but like, I feel like there, from what I was reading, is there's kind of some more to it. I think there's even possibly some like bad blood or things like that that went down. And again, I was trying to pull up an article to see if I could find any. There looks like there's some long Reddit posts about it and stuff, and again, I don't remember where I saw it, and that might have been it. But it's just, there's so many comments on this thing, it's unreal, you know, like, so I don't know why, like you said, why now, but who knows? And I mean, because if I remember correctly, the Melee community came together pretty, like, in a big way to raise some money and stuff to try to get back. I don't know if it was back into EVO or another big event, but it won the voting process, you know. And I can't remember if that was EVO or not, but I feel for that community, right? Because, like, again, I don't see a reason to take a hard stance. Like, I'll drink Coke and Pepsi. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. It's not that big a deal to me. I'll drive a Ford and a Chevy, right? Like, I'll play an Xbox and a Nintendo. I just want to have fun and watch things I enjoy. And, you know, I try to play Melee and I'm like, how are these people doing what they're doing? It doesn't even seem like relatively close to the same thing, yet they pull stuff off that's amazing. And then I think now we're seeing Ultimate as it's maturing. I mean, it's only been out for just a couple of months, and we're seeing just crazy gameplay come from Ultimate, and so I'm loving that as well. So, you know, again, I don't have a real hard stance on like why, you know, I'm glad Melee's not there. Nothing like that. No, like the more we can see the community come together, I think the better. That's where I'm at anyway.
Yeah, just collectively under the same banner. It's Smash Brothers. Let's represent the two. Right now, these are the two most popular games in this.
We are having technical difficulties again with his mic. Unfortunately, it's starting to cut in and out, but we are going to move right along into some talking points here. So let's jump right in. All right, I think Crawler's back. I can see it moving again.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's that's
love the internet.
The internet. What do you do? So we'll try to get through this. We'll try to wrap up relatively quick here. So here is a question from the Discord. It says, "Can you guys discuss how to improve spacing and movement? Every time I go to my local and face a decent player, they know exactly the amount of space to stay away from me to whiff on my attacks just to punish me afterward." You want to start with this one?
So I take that as they are comfortable against the characters that they are playing as, and also who they're going against. Like, honestly, that a lot of that comes down to just playing the game and understanding it. But I think it might be fortunate that they're just aware of a matchup more so. Like, I played a Mario online in quick play this last week that I was pretty confident in what the movesets were going to be coming out as, like, because of the amount of times I've faced off against you. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of just that practiced matchup and understanding how moves will evolve in a combo sense, and also opportunity, like where you are on the stage, what they might be trying to throw. But then also it comes down to you being very comfortable with your character and understanding your spacing so that you can put yourself in an optimal spot to land those hits. I think, like, especially for me with Corrin, like there's some quick, like, just like one foxtrot back and I can turn and do a pin. Like, it's almost, there's some points where it becomes just kind of second. Like, we talk about autopilot a little bit, but like that's almost just like a going through your breathing. Like, it's something you do, and you'll just start to recognize opportunities that you'll have, and you'll see the spacing opportunities, and it's kind of like when Neo get to finally see the Matrix, right? It clicks.
Yeah, no, it does. And when I first saw this question, where my head went is that there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. One, how aggressive are you being, right? Because and I mean, this is so complex to try to break it all down. It's gonna be a little difficult, but like, we're gonna have to just assume some things as we talk about this, right? So, you know,
maybe we have a new episode of Smash School that we can get them in on.
Yeah, maybe, and actually, like, we're still working on that. Yeah. Hopefully this weekend we're gonna try to get something going. But, like, I'm just gonna put myself in his shoes so that I can kind of talk about this. At Genesis, I faced my second match in winners was a Rosalina, who did this exact thing to me. Like, she was spaced out perfectly. Anything I tried to do. And so I played her game. She did not play, or he did not play my game. And because of that, I got beat down pretty badly. And so what I needed to do, looking back on it now, what I needed to do was sit back, start throwing some fireballs, and waiting for them to make a mistake. What happens, I think, and this is for me personally, so I can't speak for the for the person asking the question here. But for me personally, what happens is I keep trying to stick with my game plan of being aggressive, and it allows them to just continually punish, right? It allows them to continually punish. So I think the answer here is, what are your different options for approaching? Okay, and how can you mix that up compared to what you're doing that they're able to space you out? And can the other side of this coin, when it comes, your approaching may also be trying to bait something out of them so that you can then punish when they go to attack you or move themselves, in a certain way to position themselves to be able to attack. Like, you can start getting the read that way, right? For instance, and these aren't going to be perfect examples, but I'll give you some examples. I fought a young Link today in quick play. I had shown that I was willing to go out and throw my fair one time. And what happened is, the second time I did it, they tried to they tried to air dodge. Well, they didn't grab stage, and I ended up getting the kill just from preparing them to try to air dodge. Right? That's how I took the stock. So it wasn't
just from that fear.
Yeah, it wasn't anything, and I never landed the spike, but they knew I was willing to go out for it, so they know they had to react. I played a Richter today. Richter has always been a tough matchup for me. And I was on stream, and I literally said, I'll just talk out loud while I'm playing, and I'm like, this guy is going to get I'm just going to spam fireballs. And sure enough, I just start throwing fireballs. Richter's, most people play Richter. They throw their holy water, they wait for you to land in it, and then they hit you with the whip.
Cross, holy water, axe, and then they'll throw out that whip.
So it's actually pretty simple just to stay back far enough if you can hit them with some other kind of projectile. And then what happened, once this guy realized I wasn't going to fall into his game, I spiked him twice. And then I don't even remember how I got the final kill on him. I don't remember, but it was the kind of thing that I stopped myself from trying to just do my approaches, right? So this is big for me. Like, I bring this up because, like, typical me will just typically try to constantly push the envelope, right? And as I push the envelope, I end up getting punished. A lot of times I'll end up throwing my down air into the front of someone's shield, then I get grabbed and punished for it. You don't have to do that very many times before you're going to lose the match, because you're going to be at a way higher percentage than them. So it's a matter of, like, how are you approaching? Are you approaching in a way that they can see, because they've picked up on your habits, that if I just take 2 steps back, they can't cross up, meaning they can't end up behind me when they attack, and now I'm able to put myself in advantage when they attack that shield. And so that's something to think about when you're playing against these characters that seem to really understand the matchup. It's like, you may have to think outside of the box on the way you're approaching, and you may have to pump the brakes and force them to make the move. And I think
and as long as you have stage control, or you have stock advantage or percentage advantage, play that to your strength. They have to come to you. And that's kind of been, you were talking about that with your game plan, and that's something I've definitely been employing this week a little bit, is just, if you have the lead, or you have stage, or you have that stock advantage, just stop. And if it's safe to throw out a projectile, like they're not Game & Watch, or they're going to reflect it or cape it back to you, then you can spam them with stuff across stage, or you can just lay low and make them approach you. And if they come at a bad angle, then you have advantage, and play it more up that way, and just tack on that percentage points.
I think one of the things for me this last week is the game it feels like it's slowed down, right? And I know when you watch Ultimate, you watch Smash, it looks like a game that is just constantly moving so quick. But if you really watch some of the, I noticed this at Frostbite too. It's a dance. It's a chess match. It's waiting for that person to make a mistake that you know you can capitalize on. It's not constantly throwing stuff out and hoping for the best. It's really being
methodical.
Yeah, intentional with your moves. Leo from the chat here, it says spacing is tricky for sure, but as a character who spaces, you honestly need to know your own moves. He says Toon Link can only throw a bomb so far, Boomerang can only make it so far, and so on. Once you figure that out, you're able to start experimenting with combos and whatnot. And then Euphoric Weasel says, same goes for your tilts and aerials. It's important to lab the tip of your attacks, if that makes sense. And it absolutely does. As a Mario main, I could throw a back air that the tip of the attack, the tip of Mario's feet, hit the shield, and I can land safely without getting grabbed. If I go in deep without crossing up, now I'm going to get grabbed. That's almost inevitable. I see that happen to myself, and it has been one of the best ways for me to learn that, like, hey, what am I doing? Like, if I drop a down air and land in front of somebody's shield, I'm mad at myself because I know better. I know this is not the move I should be doing. So, go on here. Let's see. Patrick Murphy's replying to for Will says 100%. Sometimes what I do is I'll practice to see how close I can get with my tilts and aerials without hitting, and that helps get the spacing down. He also says just jumping in here for a few minutes before I head home, folks. All right, Patrick, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. So that's great advice, right? Is to learn how you can approach safely against these characters that are spacing you out. Because if you're not crossing up, or you're not able to hit with the tip of your attack on your approach, you're going to get punished for it every time, right? And here's what happens. There's another factor in all this, because this is what I experienced firsthand, is that you start to get tilted. You start to get frustrated because you're like, why can't I figure this out? And, you know, if you can take that breath, take that step back, and then just go, no, they're going to play my game, right? That's what I did with that Richter today. I was like, you're going to play my game. I'm not going to keep trying to approach you and end up in the holy water and then get hit with the whip. It's like, I'm taking that moveset away from him. You know, and at one point I even he threw the water and I grabbed it and threw it back at him and he was stuck in it, you know. I'm not going to say that was intentional, but it was wicked that it happened, you know. And so, and that, again, it felt like a big win for me, because a lot of times I am just so aggressive and sometimes and then unsafe that it doesn't pay off. But like, I mean, Leo, I love playing Leo. Leo's Link is amazing, and I got to get I got a match with him, and I lost, but it came down to the wire. Whereas before, it used to just be like I would just mindlessly hope that I would get, and he would just punish everything I would do. And so there's really, really something to said about just being patient when it comes to the playing against those the characters that space. And what happened, like with my match with Leo, is I was patient enough that it kind of took him out. Like, he had to start approaching me differently. Well, then as that happened, that opened up opportunities for me to, you know, maybe hit him with a down air that led into a combo, or be able to hit an up air or things like that. And we really went back and forth. And so that was fun. The other thing that I tried to make a point to do this week, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later, but was just to jump into some matches with some of the people that are in the Discord that I know are better than me, and that really helped as well. So I don't know, anything else you want to add to that spacing question?
Yeah, I mean, I hate it to be advice, but it's just playing and seeing those different matchups for, like, character specific. If you're looking to have them just be out of range, it's kind of just understanding and knowing how far each character reaches. But otherwise, I think the best way to move forward and to maybe prevent it is to be super familiar with your moveset and be comfortable with it, and making sure that you don't throw those empty moves, that you're or if you are throwing empty moves, you're throwing minimally punishable empty moves. So stick with the nair or the fair or something like that. That it's not going to don't throw a side smash or something like that. That's going to leave you very vulnerable to get punished for that missed move.
The other thing you could do is look for YouTube videos of that matchup. You know, Ultimate's kind of new, so you may not find it yet, but if you may get lucky and see, you know, I found a Mario versus I believe it was a sword character. I can't remember. I think it might have been Lucina. And either Lucina or a Roy, I can't remember exactly, but like the matchup wasn't necessarily what I was looking for, but I was able to see a lot of things that I didn't do or things that I could use more, like, you know, really just trying to incorporate Flood more into my gameplay, incorporate the cape more into the gameplay, not just at those certain times when it can reflect, but like today I was spinning people around left and right. I fought against a Ken that it was like I would spin him, he would throw his kick, and now he's got his back to me so I can get a grab, you know. And so,
well, Ken will turn around and face you right away though.
Well, but yeah, right, sure. But and Patrick is saying, Patrick's saying it's also feel free to throw in a bad spacing early in the set. Just a little is a good way to bait the opponent later, you know, to try to make them think that you're going to be playing a certain way when in the reality is you're just setting them up, you know. And then Leo says it's important to remember when learning new tech that you're going to take L's, you know, and salty ones sometimes. And that being said, you know, this is taking place at a local, right? This is every time I go to my local and I face a decent player, they know exactly the amount of space to stay away from me to whip. It's after that loss that if you can kind of just eat the humble pie and say, hey, could we do a friendly later? Could you tell me what I can do, you know? And if you're going to find somebody that's cool, they're going to be like, oh yeah, here's what I could see you were going to do every time. And then you know what you can do differently. Or they could say, oh, the one thing that I always have trouble with is when people do this to me, right? And then you can start incorporating that into your game plan. So, you know, that's the best we got for that one. Let's move on into our week with Smash here. So Crawler, we were able to play a little bit this last week. We got some, we put some time in. We were up late. Was it Monday night? We stayed up till like midnight, 1 a.m. Just throwing down, going back and forth.
It was good. You took care of me on stream for the public viewing. It was not pretty. I think I went 0-2 against you on the couple matches that we did round robin, and that was kind of fun when we were burning down the show that we did on Monday night, and then we were just doing round robin, and I think everyone kind of had a turn where they had at least 2 or 3 victories in a row, and that was good. And we had, I think, probably 6 or I think at one point we did have 8 in the. I had to bounce out, I think, to make room for people, so it was a good room. And then after the stream was over, we kind of just stayed up and we were just going back and forth. We had, I think, probably at least 10 games or so in that we got.
We were gonna play Apex, then we were like, why don't you just play Smash?
and then we took apart controllers and.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we took apart. Yeah. I found out my Mario controller. I was missing inputs. My hitting my C stick up, it was not hitting every time, and so now I have the white Smash 4 guts inside of my Mario shell, and all is right in the world again, thankfully. And
it still looks good. It's got a white cord and a white plug instead of a black cord and a red plug. It'd be nice if you could have the white cord and the red plug, but you can't have everything in the world.
Nah, you know, what do you do? What do you do?
But yeah, we had
at least it's flush on the sides, right? So.
Oh, just twist that knife a little bit for Leo. But yeah, we had some good games back and forth. I think. Josh's most embarrassing game of the night was getting 3-stocked. I think you had an unfortunate air dodge off stage, right?
Oh yeah, I had 2 SDs, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I think we went almost every game is just back and forth. It's I win, you win, I win, you win. It's kind of good. It gives us, I think we mix it up a little bit going back and forth, and
I think the worst thing, it's nice to take those L's because it helps kick me out of autopilot. Because a lot of times, you know, especially if it's like, oh, I've won a handful in a row in our matches, and then it's like, oh, I don't really have to pay attention now, you know. And it's like, no, you still gotta pay attention because we're still trying to evolve and stuff, you know. So it's good. Leo says it's all good. I'll remember that later when I play you.
Leo was in there a little bit on Monday night working on a new character. He's working on Sonic. That was interesting to watch him kind of evolving and learning to play a brawler a little bit up in your face.
Yeah, one of the nights I jumped in with Prosper Cell and AV from Beyond the Metagame, and there was a handful of other people, and we like Leo jumped in near the end, and it was really good. Like AV busted out his wolf, and so had some good matches with him, and I was actually surprised I took a couple stocks, you know, like I could definitely see improvement from the last time I played him, because when we played him at Genesis, like we said we beat him, we did not beat them. We did not beat them at all. Like him and Peon are really good. So so again, if you guys are looking for good Smash advice, go check out Beyond the Metagame. That's where you'll find it on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. So
we got something in the works with them though.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna be working with them. But yeah, it was just good to jump in with people that I knew were on a different level, right? Who've been playing the game much longer, and really just like, I'll be honest, like my palms were sweating. I was trying
knees
to.
Weak, arms were heavy.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, there was something about spaghetti and like I was like, I'm gonna try to do the best I can here and try to really focus, not fall into autopilot, and look for opportunities to punish. And that's again, you said it earlier. This is coming with time. That's what's really happening at this point. It's not like some of the stuff that we're seeing happen in our gameplay is happening from being in the lab, right? I still go into the lab. I still go in and work on my up air combos. And how frustrating are my up air combos?
Yeah, sometimes I get 50-60% without having touched you, and it makes me very, very mad. Right.
So the lab has its place. It definitely pays off. But a lot of it is just time. It's doing the viewer battles and having, I see Patrick Murphy in here and Weasel and stuff. Like it's honestly, it's taken a village, right? To help me to improve continually. I have my local tonight. I'm so excited. The other thing that's happened is my son has taken up as he started playing Luigi instead of Link. And so we've been going back and forth and we've started having some really fun games, and we can play like on the same screen, right? No lag. Sometimes we each have our Switch in hand and we'll do wireless just because we're hanging out downstairs or whatever. But I'm still just loving the game. I'm loving the game, and I'm loving just the slow improvements. It's just a slow grind, it's and that's what it boils down to. But if you want to keep improving, you have to stick with it. And there are times that it feels like a plateau, right? It feels that you're like, I'm not getting any better. I'm losing more matches. And you just got to evaluate, like record some stuff, record your matches, watch back, like what got you killed. Especially on stream and stuff, I've started just kind of, again, talking out loud and just like, oh, that was a bad move. Why did I do that? I'm really like thinking about my approach. Like, am I mindlessly, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but am I mindlessly landing in front of somebody with my down air that's like 15 hits to their shield and then it's just an instant punish? Right? Or am I thinking about my approach? I'm picking up things like, hey, if I throw my back air at a Link throwing his boomerang, the back air can stop it, and if I'm close enough, I can even hit the Link with it.
You can just go through it.
You can go through it. And so, thinking about thinking about, well, that's coming from just playing these matchups and things like that. I know the next step for me, and I'm thinking about doing it this next coming week, is I'm afraid to say it on here because then they're going to hold me to it, but I'm thinking about as I do viewer battles, everything's a ditto. And then maybe even bring people into the stream to talk to me about their character and how I can better learn that matchup. You know, as I learn because I have been learning a lot about matchups from just playing the game. You know, Patrick Murphy's saying ditto all day. So, but at the same time, I know when I play against another Mario, like I know what to look for. I know what is going to get him punished, that kind of stuff, you know, and so it's been good.
Yeah,
it's been good.
I get excited when I get a Corrin Ditto or something like that online. It's a different kind of experience. You get to see how somebody else puts your character to work, and I mean, you can sometimes learn a whole lot, and sometimes you can pick out if they're a good player of that main. You can almost tell right away if it's their main or if it's not. And sometimes that's indicated by their icon, sometimes it's not, but it's definitely fun to kind of see that when you're playing against another character that you're getting those dittos.
Yeah, and I know like the one thing that I noticed a lot with you is you were throwing more nairs, right? You were throwing more nairs, and then Master of the Link started playing. He's one of the viewers and guys in the Discord. He did the Link video with us. He started playing Corrin, and I was noticing the way he was, just the way he was edge guarding was different, you know, like, and really like taking away my ability to jump up from ledge, like that. That's something.
Was he pike guarding the side, like jumping off and piking into the side?
No, he was standing back about like, you know, just a little ways from the ledge, and then as I would jump on, he was either throwing a fair or throwing I think he even threw his is it the up smash that makes the spikes go up above her head?
Two spikes, yeah.
Yeah, and so he threw that as I was trying to get onto the platform, and actually got a final kill with that. You know, and I wasn't expecting it.
That's something I had fun with this week as well. Like, I hit my all-time highest that I've hit in GSP or whatever. I think I got to like 3.5, something like that, and just kind of the climb back up to what it was. I think I've gone up maybe 300,000 points or something this week, but it's been kind of that slow grind, but it's seeing that incremental kind of just work to get there. And I've kind of adopted playing some of my characters that are kind of down in the dumpster a little bit when it comes to GSP, just to kind of warm up and get my fingers warmed up, and even if it's a different moveset, it's still moving around and playing Smash. And then I get maybe a little bit more comfortable. But that's one thing I don't like about the GSP system is there's no easy way unless you're hopping into an arena to practice your character before you go on for that grind. But just kind of getting warmed up, even if it's not your main character, and then jumping into it has kind of helped a little bit with what I've been doing. But something else this week when we started talking about dittos, I did play Buddha from the Discord. He's been reaching out to me. We've been kind of playing Discord tag for like a week and a half or so about getting set up on Corrin Dittos, and we finally did that. I don't remember what day it was, but we did get that set up, and we had probably 8 to 10 matches or so, and it kind of went back and forth, and we saw some different moves, and we kind of had a brief conversation at the end when I took off, and we talked about different kind of strategies, what can work and what can't work, and it was good to kind of have that interaction. It was great.
Yeah, and the one thing I did, I think I mentioned last week, is I got into that Mario Discord, and a lot of times people will put out like, you know, critique my match, right? And man, I watched this Mario just. One thing I took away from it the most is constantly wall jumping off of the stage, even on Battlefield stages and whatnot, and just the options you have for getting back up onto stage after that. Like you can almost guarantee you're going to hit the ledge versus missing if you do it that way, because you can actually wall jump right back to the ledge depending on how low you get on the stage. You can hit the stage low and then cape if somebody's up being next to you, and then you can up B back to the stage and get back safely. Like, there was just so many different options that opened up, you know, for me. And so what I do, I jumped into the lab and started getting used to that, the feeling of wall jumping off of those stages. So just every little bit to just constantly be growing, constantly be looking, you know, that's gonna help you, you know. And so I'm pumped for my local tonight. I can't wait. We're going to be heading down here in about an hour and a half. I am going to have my camera with me. I'm going to be shooting like kind of a vlog while we're there, and maybe interviewing a few people and that kind of stuff. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel for that. And you know, fingers crossed. I'm hoping for 3 and 2. That's the goal. If I get bodied, I get bodied. I mean, there's nothing. I did talk with my son, and we're gonna stay later tonight and do friendlies with people and try. He was like, I don't even care if I compete. I just want to show up for friendlies, you know. And so that's happening. We're pretty excited. So. I think that's going to pretty much do it. I do want to let you guys know, as we are wrapping up here, that there are more. If you go to n64josh.com/store, we've got a handful of, we got Smash Bros. Cast merch. I'm working on getting the stocks, like for each character. And so we have a handful of them in there already. Mario, Roy, Little Mac, all the links. You know, there's a handful of stocks in there already. And of course, the best advice I can ever give in Smash, just roll, is now available in my merch store. And the they just typed it in chat, ! Advice, just roll. The O in roll is the Smash logo. So make sure to check that out, guys. That's n64josh.com/store. With that, Crawler, where can people find you?
You guys can find me hanging out in the N64Josh Discord, and that is n64josh.com/Discord will get you the invite. Come hang out, come ask questions, be ready for the call-in show if that's something you're interested in doing. That's where we do those calls. And then you guys can also find me on Twitter at Nightcrawler74, Nightcrawlers without the E, and then also on Twitch. Got that booted up this week. We did a little bit of Mario Maker and then played some Hollow Knight, so kind of mixing it up with some variety streaming. But yeah, come hang out and we'll get some games in.
Right on, guys. You can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube. It's all at N64Josh. Most of if you want to interact with me, the Discord or Instagram or Twitter are the main places. I try to get on Facebook and reply to people, but it's tough. It's too much social media. So forgive me for that. Lots of YouTube videos coming out, doing daily vlogs, things like that. So make sure to check out the YouTube channel. And guys, if you want to follow this show, it's at Smash Bros. Cast on Twitter. The music you're hearing right now is the Metal Melee theme. You can check out the full video. This is a pretty link. It'll take you directly to YouTube. It's just n64josh.com/Metal Melee. You can check that out. The dude just shreds on guitar. It's a beautiful thing. And lastly, if you want to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/SBC. The chair I'm sitting in from OPC, n64josh.com/OPC. Guys, if you could rate and review on iTunes, we greatly appreciate it. We thank you so much for listening, for hanging out with us in Discord, for getting matches with us, and we'll see you guys Monday night for the call-in show. We'd love if you could stop by, so take it easy now. Bye.